as a group are people who went through authorized routes. So our security service personnel to actually search some of these people who may be bringing into our jurisdiction weapons that may be used against our citizens. Mr. Speaker, in addition to that, we must understand that clearly things have changed now. We have nation states that have clear boundaries, and we cannot simply abide by the same ways we lived in the past. In the same way as a Ghanaian, I cannot just go into a country in East Africa without having the relevant documents because we are all African. We must recognize that things have changed, and we must respect some of these laws that protect our citizens and don't turn them into second-class citizens at the expense of protecting foreigners. Mr. Speaker, I would like to reiterate the appeal by Honorable Agalga and Enyimadu that we actually look at how we bring back documents that were used in previous parliaments and see how we can apply the recommendations that were made with those committees and see how we can make progress in how we address this issue, because this is a problem that is clearly not coming to an end because we are not taking decisive action on it. And so, Mr. Speaker, I would like to urge that any recommendation with regards to referral to any committee relating to security must include the subsidiary legislation committee as well. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, honourable members. I humbly plead with you to end the comment on this particular statement here, since we have other statements to be taken. Unless if the leadership wants to comment on the statement, fine.
Mr. Speaker, mine is not on this matter. I've just had a discussion with the chief whip of our caucus on an application that was just made, and which application you granted. So I'd wanted to draw your attention to some fundamental facts for your consideration, if it so pleases you. Mr. Speaker, my respected colleague informs me that whilst dealing with the order paper, an application was made for variation for an addendum order paper item to be considered. I believe at the time the application came before you, you were not made aware of certain intervening matters. Hence, the granting of the application for the paper to be laid. Mr. Speaker, it is important to put on record that a fundamental administrative issue was raised. A memo was ferried to Mr. Speaker's office questioning the composition of the committee as well as the chairman's conduct. That memo has not been responded to. As a matter of right, Mr. Speaker would have to respond to the memo for all issues raised to be considered until we exhaust. It cannot be that this can be done, because, Mr. Speaker, if we are not careful and we set certain precedents, one day, it will come back and haunt this very house. Because Mr. Speaker set up the committee administratively, not through a motion or not through any effort of member of parliament. So we could only raise issue administratively. And there's a memo to his desk, which memo we added evidence of certain actions and pronouncements of the chair of the committee. The memo has not received a response. We've not dealt with the fundamental issues. How then can the chairman say that he's done with his work and he's laying a report when the preliminary issues that we have raised have not been addressed? Mr. Speaker, I am only bringing to the attention of this house that if today it suits one side of the house to proceed on a certain matter in a certain way, let the records reflect that someday, this matter will come up again and they will be referred to their own records. That's all I want to say.
Honorable Minority Leader, I think this issue crop up in your absence. The whips did very well, and the decision was taken that we should allow the paper to be laid, and thereafter there will be some engagement as to the way forward. Hence, the paper was laid. The consequential motions were accordingly deferred to abide by the decision that may come out of the engagement. So I believe the leaders are enjoined to engage on this matter. So that was the agreement that we have reached, and that was my directions.
Speaker,
Yes,
I thank you for
Majority Chief Whip.
I thank you for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, the leader is welcome. I was hoping that his comments would have been in respect of whether or not there was a procedural impropriety regarding the laying. Leader is senior to me in this house. If you had a correspondence with the speaker and you are not getting a feedback, leader knows that you could have sent a reminder. But that didn't happen. So I believe that he ought to send a reminder to the speaker and said, we have a memo in respect of this matter. It's been some time. So may we have some response? But the committee is an ad hoc committee. They were given some timelines, and their work is done. And when we got back on Tuesday, as part of the opening comments from leadership as well as from Speaker himself, reference was made to outstanding referrals to committee, which reports were outstanding, and therefore there was an urgent need for those committees to get back to the House. So I believe that it was in response to such call for committees that have businesses to report back to the House. It was based on such the request that this committee has come today to lay its report. But like you said and agreed to, we laid a report. We haven't taken it. Further engagements are being had. So I believe that he has opportunity to participate in that process.
Yes.
And so the report can be taken later. So let me assure him that the door is not closed. Further engagements, like he anticipates, can be had. We are masters of our rules. We can always handle this matter. So it should calm down. We'll deal with this matter dispassionately. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, let me express satisfaction by way of the intervention from the Chief Whip of the majority, and particularly his choice of words by way of response. But Mr. Speaker, a fundamental preliminary matter cannot be washed away. And that is why I'm saying that I am bringing this to the attention of this House. Mr. Speaker, history will guide us. This House has had 37 or 33 against some 60 something. This House has had 137 before. This House had had 169 against some lesser odd number. And today, we are where we are. Mr. Speaker, I agree with him if he suggests to me that there will be an opportunity for engagement. But the understanding from my respected colleague was not to that effect. And I believe that fundamentally, the issue would have to be addressed before moving to the secondary stage of laying a report. Because, Mr. Speaker, when you say a report has been laid, It carries with it everything, including the very chair whose chairmanship we are questioning. I agree with you if you say that, yes, follow up with the Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would not want to make disclosures regarding my effort, but I believe that Mr. Speaker's office is an office of record. Once the minority leader ferries a memo stating reasons for an objection, if Mr. Speaker responds to me, that would then leave me with another tool available to advance my next course of action. But Mr. Speaker, I am saying that the records of this House should reflect that this happened this day in this form. If this House would allow this to happen, I am fine. Maybe today I will be at the receiving end. But nobody knows tomorrow, particularly 28.
So, Minority
Mr. Speaker,
Leader,
so Mr. Speaker, may I conclude?
what exactly has the House done wrong?
Mr. Speaker, what I'm saying, respectfully, I would want to plead with you that hear me in full rather than putting a question to me. What I'm saying is that at the time the House accepted for this paper to be laid, I am sure the House was unaware of the intervention administratively. That is why I'm saying that I'm bringing this to the attention of the House, that there was a memo. And Mr. Speaker, don't let us forget one thing, that the committee was set up through an administrative directive by the Speaker. So I could only deal with any objection administratively. And that is what I did. Maybe you are not aware. Mr. Speaker, I believe that if you were aware that I had written a memo challenging the chairman's conduct, you would have asked for the response.
Honorable Minority Leader,
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
if a paper is presented, and assuming but not admitting that representation was done by error, is there not a remedy for it under our rules?
Mr. Speaker, that's a different matter. I am raising a fundamental issue, bringing that to the attention of the House. That being the case, Mr. Speaker, if it is your pleasure that we would have an opportunity to deal with it at a later date, or even there can be some discussion, so be it. But I do not get that impression from my colleague, the Chief Whip.
That is why I am telling you, as the person presiding at the time that the paper was laid, that the direction was that after laying the paper, the report of the committee, leadership would engage, therefore would defer the consequential motions. The motions were not going to be taken. So therefore, after the engagement, if it is established that the paper ought not to have been laid, our rules would direct us as to what to do in the circumstances. So once leadership, you are going to engage, let's abide by the outcome of that engagement.
Mr. Speaker, we'll raise the matter to the extent that the engagement will give rise for us to discuss the memo and all. I think it's a fair point, and I would rest my case on that point. Thank you very much.
Minority Leader, I don't think you have a case to rest in the first place. Honourable members, can we make progress? Not on this matter. Let's make progress. Not on this matter. I am of the view that we should put this matter to rest. Honourable members, I intend to direct that the statement made by the Honourable Member for Sola, Tuna, Karba, on the unhealthy relationship between farmers and herdsmen be transmitted to the Minister responsible for Interior. Honourable Member, thank you for making this statement. Honourable members, we have a statement standing in the name of Nana Ajiman Prempre, Member of Parliament for Ahafo-Ano North Constituency, on the election of MMDCs. Honourable member, you have the floor.
Speaker, there are actually two statements. The one also stands in the name of the Honorable Koko, but that of Koko is commemorative. So if it is the case that you are going to admit one, then we should rather take that of Koko, which is commemorative and it falls on today. Then we can have Ajiman's statement taken tomorrow. So it's a suggestion. I'll leave the decision.
Very well. Then we then proceed to give the floor to Honorable Koko Asante.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to make a statement in commemoration of the World Menstrual Hygiene Day, which is observed annually on May 28th. This important day is dedicated to breaking the silence, raising awareness, and promoting action to the critical issue of menstrual hygiene management. This year marks a decade when the first observance of menstrual hygiene was initially observed in 2014. The initiative has grown globally into a movement, and the theme this year is Together for a Period-Friendly World. The emphasis on together is not merely symbolic. It's a powerful call to shared responsibility and collective action. Mr. Speaker, menstruation is a natural process. It's a biological process just like breathing. Yet millions of girls in Ghana and across the world continue to face stigma, shame, and embarrassment, and significant barriers in managing their monthly menstrual cycle with dignity. Many girls miss school and sports and social activities each month simply because they lack the access to sanitary products, safe changing facilities, safe private changing facilities, and clean water. In rural and low-income communities, these challenges are even more severe. Let us be unequivocal. Menstrual health is not a luxury. Menstrual health is not a luxury. It is a human right, aligned with the UN SDG target number 6. It is intricately linked to education, health, and gender equality and economic empowerment. When we fail to ensure access to menstrual hygiene for all, we are not merely neglecting the needs of women and girls, we are compromising our national development. Mr. Speaker, on this occasion, I join voices around the world in urging this House to consider policy and budgetary interventions that will significantly improve menstrual health outcomes in Ghana. These include incorporating menstrual health education into school curricula to combat stigma and misinformation. There's a lot of myth and stigma. Some communities even consider the monthly cycle as taboo, so girls and women cannot participate in certain activities during that time. Ensuring the provision of gender-friendly changing facilities in schools, workplaces, and public institutions is also critical. Mr. Speaker, it is disappointing that we continue to witness lack of urgency and commitment in addressing hygienic needs of our schoolgirls and women. Despite numerous promises, we have seen very little on the provision of gender-friendly sanitation facilities essential for safe and dignified menstrual hygiene management. The President and the government must be reminded that platitudes and symbolic gestures are not enough. Our girls need bold investment, real infrastructure, and leadership that prioritizes their dignity and well-being. Mr. Speaker, as part of efforts to mark this day, the Menstrual Hygiene Day, I had the honor on Monday, May 26th, to engage students in the two high schools in my constituency, Etiwa West. The schools were Bomosu STEM Senior High School and the Kwabing Anglican Senior Technical High School, where we spoke to them on menstrual hygiene and the urgency and the importance of mental wellness and teenage pregnancy. During these visits, I also distributed sanitary pads to the girls in the two schools for their well-being. The education was very important. The girls interacted, and you could tell that they were very interested, and you could tell that education was really needed there, especially teenage pregnancy. Menstrual Hygiene Day reminds us that no woman or girl should be held back because of their monthly period. I therefore call on all members of Parliament, relevant ministries, civil society organizations, and the private sector to unite in building a Ghana where menstruation is no longer a barrier, it is no longer a shame, it is no longer an obstacle to dignity, education, and full participation in society. Together, we can create a period-friendly Ghana. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Commemorative statement ably made. The floor is now open for members' comment.
Why? Don't you have a wife?
Yes, Honorable Member, you have the floor. Honorable Zuwera, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to this commemorative statement made by my colleague, the MP for Etiwa West. I think it's a very important statement, especially coming on the heels of the recent launch of the free sanitary pads for girls by Excellency President John Dramani Mahama on the 24th of April, 2025. Mr. Speaker, we've read several statements in this chamber on this very important subject matter. His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama listened to our statement, actualized our aspirations, and actively acted on our demands and requests to support the girl child in order that the girl child can have free and safe menstrual hygiene. Mr. Speaker, I don't know how many of my colleagues here were at the Salvation Army School at Mamprobi on 24th April. And I think on that day, anyone who was there would agree with me that we came face to face with the emotions of mothers. We came face to face with the emotions of the girl child in respect to their menstrual cycle. We watched a sketch enacted by the school children, and it told the whole story. We didn't have to pull this. The whole story about how the girl child navigates this natural sequence of their lives on a monthly basis was told to us by parents. We saw how the girl child on that day clamored for the free sanitary pads that the gender ministry and the education ministry had taken along in order for the launch to be successful. And Mr. Speaker, We heard His Excellency the President speak. We heard the Minister of Education speak. We heard the Gender Minister speak. But most importantly, we heard the girl child. And the girl child told us that that singular initiative of the free sanitary pad was going to address a bigger problem than we thought we knew. Mr. Speaker, we left the launch happy, inspired to continue to do our work in advocating for more recognition for the girl child. One of the things we wondered about was what was going to be the distribution mechanism for these free sanitary pads to our various schools. Mr. Speaker, I sat here this morning and I got a message with a picture accompanying the message of the free sanitary pads being distributed in my beloved Salaga South constituency. Mr. Speaker, this is how pragmatic this government takes this issue of the distribution of the free sanitary. 1 month after the launch, the sanitary pads are out there in the schools for the young girls so that they can continue to go to school and reach their potential and life ambition. Mr. Speaker, we have nothing else to add but to say a very big thank you to His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama for listening to the cries of the young people of this country. He's told us that his government is going to be committed to ensuring that the girl child stays in school. And he's shown the first indication. We are grateful. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Thank you. Yes, Honorable Member, you have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I would also want to associate myself with the statement made by the Honorable Member for Itiwa West. Right Honorable Speaker, the MP for Salaga South has said it all. I was very surprised that in making the statement, the maker would not make a bit of a reference to what this government is doing to bring relief to the young women of Ghana. But apart from the pads, Right Honorable Speaker, menstrual hygiene goes beyond just the provision of sanitary pads. I think that at the level of our schools, we would have to look at how to make privacy possible for these young girls. Because if you have the sanitary pad and you don't have a place where you can change it, then definitely you are going to have a problem. Apart from that, we must also look at the disposal of these products when they are done. Because once the towel or the tampon is used, then there should be a proper mechanism to dispose it, since that will cause some public health hazards to the people around. Right, Honorable Speaker, when we talk about menstrual health, all we are thinking about is menstrual blood. But we are not even looking at the danger it poses to the female child in the future. If this hygiene is not done right, a lot of our girls are exposed to a lot of infections, like bacterial vaginosis, etc. And trust me, in the future, the commonest thing that people come across, or that comes across to people in hospitals, especially when it comes to the female child, is going to be infertility. The state, families, etc., spend a lot of money when it comes to the issue of infertility, when it comes to issues of providing women that want to have children. So what I'm saying is, the issue of menstrual health is not just the provision of sanitary towels and tampons. We must look, one, at the availability of privacy for these children in school to change. We must look at, two, how we are going to dispose of these materials that are being produced at the end from the young girls. And then lastly, this government, for me, as somebody that comes from a village, as somebody that relates with young women that miss school, this free sanitary towel project is the best ever social intervention thing that we can do to bridge that gender inequality that we have. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity.
Yes, Honorable Member, you have the floor. I think we'll take the last comment on this statement.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. And let me take this opportunity to associate myself with the statement that was made by our sister from Itiwa West. Mr. Speaker, I think the issues have already been raised by her and those who have contributed, but I have just one or two comments to pass and ask, particularly with regards to the government program in providing sanitary pads for our ladies. First and foremost, we had the benefit of government sharing those pads to the ladies or to our girls. Unfortunately, I don't know if it was just a sheer coincidence, but they were sharing it even to boys. Boys were even being given part of the pads on the day that they were sharing, and I was wondering the basis upon that.
Honourable Member, do you have the evidence?
Oh, it's on record. You can watch the day. We watch it on TV. So we can go back.
Honourable Member, do you have the evidence?
Mr. Speaker, it's with GBC.
Can you provide the evidence?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, we will request from GBC to provide. Mr. Speaker, so the import of what I'm actually saying.
Honourable Member, if you don't have the evidence, retract your statement.
Mr. Speaker, I'm guided. So I'm guided to withdraw. It's withdrawn. Mr. Speaker, second, the issue has to do with the plan of government to make these pads to our ladies sustainable. Here is the case, we have supplied them only as a one-off thing. We know that the menstrual cycle for a woman is monthly. So when you provide it for them once, what is the intention to support them over the year? And we look at the budget implication for these supplies. And you are asking whether the budgetary allocation for the purchase of these sanitary pads were made available to the ministry to supply these pads for our ladies. So my call on the Minister for Gender is to ensure that we don't just do politics for politics' sake. This is a real need for our ladies. And also, it is not every lady that will require the sanitary pad. We have people who are really in need of these sanitary pads. And so it should be a well thought through thing. Government should make sure that we make it available for those in need, so that at the end of the day, we can achieve the purpose for it. Mr. Speaker, to end it, I'm concerned again as to this provision of sanitary or washrooms for our children in the basic schools. My colleague on the other side talked about accessibility to disposal. But even water, these are ladies, when they visit the washrooms, they need water to wash their hands and also to even do the other things that they do. So my request is for government to ensure that we make access to water available for our schools. Government has indicated that electricity is available for our schools, but we should go beyond electricity and make sure that we get water also for them. Then at the end of the day, we can improve this. On that note, I think I'll congratulate the maker of the statement for making this for us. Thank you very much, Right Honourable.
Honourable members, statement time is ended. Statement time is ended. Yes, Deputy Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I think we have exhausted what we want to do today. So I would like to move that we bring proceedings to an end for today and come back tomorrow at 10 o'clock.
Motion move for adjournment. Any seconder?
There's attention to the discussion we had at conclave that the Speaker had directed that from tomorrow we will start at 2 p.m. That was the directive. I'm sure maybe you came in a bit late, before you came in. So, Speaker, if you may take that on board, that from tomorrow sitting will start at 2 p.m. That was a directive. Yeah.
Very well. Yes. Yes.
You should make the application properly, taking on board the time for sitting tomorrow, and then I can.
So he's on his feet.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I think that happened before I joined the meeting at the conclave this morning with Mr. Speaker. So if 2 o'clock is what the Speaker has directed, then, of course, that will be the time that we will come in tomorrow. So I move that we adjourn and come back to tomorrow. Thank you.
We are rise to support the motion move.
Thank you very much. Honourable members, motion has been moved and seconded, and the question is, as many as are in favor of the motion for adjournment, say aye. Those against, say no. The ayes have it. The House is accordingly adjourned to tomorrow.
I just got a call from the Secretariat, the Speaker's Secretariat, that he would do a further engagement before the 2 p.m. Takes effect. So we should start tomorrow at the usual time, 10.
Very well. So the House is accordingly adjourned to Thursday, the 29th May, 2025 at 10 o'clock in the forenoon.